So you never had an MRI for your low back?
No, I've never done MRI or anything like that.
Yeah. Probably in the future, if you really want to truly find out, that's probably what I would do.
Okay.
You know, Josh, because you know, like on X-ray, it only shows just the disc space, right?
Okay.
So you can see that the disc space is there, but you might not know if it's herniating or not.
Yeah.
Herniation, you know, is where the disc material or the nucleus from the disc comes out of the actual outside of the disc.
Okay.
So you have two portions of your disc. One is the annulus fibrosus, which think of it as the tire in your car.
Okay.
Okay. So and then the wheel itself is your nucleus.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have a disc herniation, the nucleus, in that case, you know, it's not hard like a metal. Wise, the nucleus inside is actually just like jelly, like it actually leaks out because the tire is torn.
Okay.
Okay. So, and they're both are soft tissue in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So, X-rays only pick up bones, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really see it.
Okay.
So now they might say, well, your disc height has diminished, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really truly say it's herniated unless you have an MRI.
Okay.
Okay, so which is good, you know, so you might not have one.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So I mean, because just because you have pain, I always tell people, just because you have pain doesn't mean that you necessarily have a disc herniation in there. You know, so looking through an X-rays is not really a good way of, you know, deciphering if it's, you know, truly disc herniation or not.
Okay.
All right. So, but what were your symptoms usually before when you had some back pain?
So I initially did it when I went from deadlifting and then into leg press.
Okay.
And I felt like something really bad then, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. But I can feel it like down both my legs sometimes, usually my left leg more.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel like it gets tingly really easily, gets numb sometimes, and like shooting pain sometimes when I move.
Okay.
But it's definitely the worst when I sit down at my desk for a long time, is when it gets really, really sore. It's almost like, it's pretty close to the tailbone, like very, very low back.
Low back area, okay. All right, and you don't have any more numbness or tingling in your low back, right?
No, not in the actual lower back.
So it hasn't, so Josh was traction, you know, by his past, you know, chiropractor, so it sounds like they put you in traction. For quite some time with that,
Yeah.
So that's good. So, you know, what's the typical pain now that you have, or
so it's not very painful. Like if I think about it, I can feel that it's there, but it doesn't like ruin my day-to-day activities or anything like that.
So how often do you sit now?
Quite a bit. So I'd sit in my office probably 8 hours, 6 to 7 hours a day. But I get up a lot and move around, and then I probably only sit in my office for 3 days a week. The rest of the time I'm out moving around. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Because sitting does actually irritate the disc more, right? So, so there's probably a high possibility, you know, that you do have a disc herniation, and then, you know, from that, you know, so because typically most of my patient that comes in here, when they have an active disc herniation, they can't sit.
Okay.
They actually are standing up filling out paperwork.
Yeah. Wow.
Because why? Because when you're sitting, the low back becomes your first floor in a sense, right? Or your pelvis becomes your first floor. When you're standing, you have your ankles, your knees, and your hips to take away some of the stress, right? So when you're sitting, it just puts
all the pressure.
Right level, So typically, most of the patients, they sit and they can't get up with a disc lesion. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind for, you know, it's just on a preventive level. When you're sitting, get up and move around. Okay, so take little breaks, you know, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're sitting for an hour or two, get up for 3-4 minutes. Doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it changes the mechanics of, you know, the stress that you're putting on, and also puts stress in different muscles. So that's gonna help you a lot, but
Okay.
Right. So let's examine you, and then we'll see where you are,
Okay.
and we're trying to fix you up.
Perfect.
All right, any questions?
No.
All right, let's have you do this. Let's have you sit up.
All right.
All right, so let's have you stay right there. Let's have you cross your arms across your chest for me, and I'm gonna actually turn you to the left side for me right there. Good, go to the right side for me. So good rotation, Josh, not bad. So, are you playing any sports right now?
No,
or
not
just
right
mostly
now.
training.
Do a little bit of jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Arch is actually pretty good down here, so we're looking at your lumbar lordosis, okay? You want to have this arch here, Josh, okay? So you can see when you're arching your back here, or having that lumbar lordosis here, your posture is really good.
Okay.
So when you buckle this, or tighten up your abs for me, it goes into flexion, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when you go into flexion, you lose the arch in your back.
Okay.
Which then, guess what happens? You're actually putting more stress on your discs.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
They feel like, yeah, this is, sway back, you don't want to be doing this. No,
Yeah.
this is normal, right?
Okay.
So when you're doing squats and deadlifts,
Yeah.
I want you to have that arch.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of trainers and a lot of other therapists out there, I think it's changing now. People are finally realizing, like even therapists, they're finally realizing that a straight back is not a key
Okay.
to doing any sort of activity, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want you guys, I don't want you guys in a way, so to tighten up your abs.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me when you tighten up your abs as you're doing any sort of training, particularly squats or deadlift or any like bend over rows where you're putting your discs in a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have that back arch.
Yeah.
So why? Because if you start to buckle and go forward, or even tighten up your abs and your spine is straight, it's still putting a lot of force. And it's and the reason for that is because your back is designed to arch.
Yeah.
That's just normal curvature. We call that the lordosis because of this reason. Lordotic curves mean that here's your back side, okay? Here's your back side and here's your front side. The lordotic curves means it has a curvature like that.
Okay.
Points to the anterior, the curve curves towards the front side, okay? So that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Now when you tighten up your abs, right, or contract, and people tell you, keep your back straight, this is what you look like. That automatically puts your posture forward, okay? So always think of arching your back. So, so what it looks like is this, Josh. Now you watch me with good posture. I'm standing with my back arched, right? Down here. As soon as I buckle and tighten up my abs, my back is straight, but look at my posture. I go forward.
Okay.
So it's a slight movement, but when you're doing it, really arch your back. So, so let's have you stand up and we'll walk you through, right?
Okay.
So just stand like you would if you were to do a regular bar squat for me. Okay. So just normal. Good, perfect. So what I want you to do is just act like you're having a bar right there. So go down slowly for me. Good job. All right, let's have you move forward a little more, Josh. Sorry, so you have to take. All right, so again, try again. Good. So, and is this like your normal, way of squatting, you think? So,
I think so.
All right, so let's have you try again. One more time. All right. So now I'm gonna actually have you hold here for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So as we're filming you here, it's hard for you to see, right? But I'm actually gonna have you close your eyes for a second, okay? And I'll support you. Now watch this. When you close your eyes, I'm gonna slightly push you backward and forward. So we're gonna have you go back and go forward. You feel how you're very unstable, Josh?
Yeah.
Particularly what? Going back, right?
Yeah.
Look how much you lean. And we can see that just through your feet. I mean, your toes already come off the table, right?
Yeah.
Now watch. All I want you to do is arch this back more. Perfect. Get your butt back more. Arch your back more and then lean forward a little more. Keeping this back arch. Good. Now watch. I'm hitting you harder. Now where are you going?
Forward a little bit more.
Okay. Now go down further more. Good. Now this is going to be the difference here. When you have this arch, and you go down further, you feel more stable?
Yeah, a lot more stable.
Okay. You are actually have the same posture or the same mechanics that a linebacker sits himself right before each play. Okay.
Yeah.
Head up. That's how your squatting should be.
Okay.
Much more stable that way,
Yeah,
right?
a lot more stable.
And see how your abs is actually stretching now. It's not tight. It is not actually contracting. Now, let's have you do that. Contract your abs a second. Contract. See how your head automatically just go forward? And your spine straighten out. Now, it's harder to lean forward and have your back straight, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Because why? Because all your momentum is going to stay back on your heel more.
Yeah.
Okay, so stand up again for me. So let's have you do the same thing. So the most important thing is how you start to go back right away. So the initial phase is getting your glutes back and your chest out. So this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to go out, chest, buttock back as you're lowering yourself down. Okay, so try that. And arch your back. Keep going, keep going. Much better, Josh. That's how you want to be. Okay. And when you do that, I can tap you here, and then you can find a balance. Really easy. Yeah. Unlike before, when you were standing more here, it's right on your heels, and you're moving every which way. Okay. So that's a little bit of a, more of a mechanical change. And all we did was that we changed how you look at your low back with regards to the stress that you're placing on there based upon the curvature of your back. Yeah. So hopefully that helps a lot. Yeah. No, squatting and deadlifts is the same way. Okay. So when you go down there and you do a deadlift, we still want you to do that. So So I want you to scratch this thing about thinking about tying up my core.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. You can tighten up your core when you're doing planks.
Yeah.
When you're staying
Doing
stationary,
abs,
right?
yeah.
You're doing abs and stuff like that, you know. But when you're doing dynamic exercises like this, you know, this lumbar lordosis, the curvature of your low back has to be really pronounced.
Okay.